Since 2010, a number of states have seen slow or even negative growth. While some of these states are still on this same trajectory today, there are a number of new states that have joined this list. In fact, these new states' population declines have only ramped up in recent years. But why is this? After all, the overall population of the US increased by 0.4% in those same recent years. Well, today on Across the Globe, we're going to be looking at the 10 fastest dying states in the US. Number 10. California. Between 2021 and 2022, California lost 0.29% of its population, equating to about 113,000 people. The reasons for this are varied, but one of the main reasons is the high cost of living. California has a cost of living index of 134, far above the US average of 100. Its housing index is even higher at 186.5, making it one of the highest in the country. But it's not just housing. There's not a single category in the cost of living index, including things like groceries, utilities, transportation, and health, that is below the national average. In terms of what the housing numbers look like, as of June 2023, the median home sale in the state of California was approximately $786,000, far above the US median of $418,000. Rent is also high, at the third highest in the US, with an average one-bedroom going for about $1,658. Other factors contributing to people leaving the state include increases in pollution, crime, and congestion. And it's not just ordinary people leaving the state. Businesses have also relocated out of it. In fact, between 2018 and 2022, 352 businesses left the state, including prominent businesses like Tesla. Number 9. Rhode Island. Rhode Island lost about 3,200 people, or 0.3% of its population, between 2021 and 2022. Some of the key factors behind this include expensive housing, slow economic growth, and remote work taking people out of the state. Let's start with housing. While its most recent median home sale was $462,000, which isn't too much above the national average, a study found that a significant portion of the population is cost-burdened, meaning that they spend over 30% of their income on housing. Rhode Island's economy has also slowed down, with conditions being particularly challenging for small businesses. U.S. News and World Report, for instance, ranked Rhode Island's economic growth at number 38 in the country, and WalletHub rated its economy 12th worst in the country. More specifically, its economic health received a score of 33, its innovation potential 30, and its economic activity a poor score of 42, one of the worst in the nation. Number 8. Pennsylvania. From 2021 to 2022, Pennsylvania's population dropped by 0.31%, resulting in a loss of approximately 40,000 people. This is due to both outmigration and an aging population. In terms of outmigration, a significant number of working-age people are leaving the state and taking their talents elsewhere. This has resulted in an estimated $106 billion in income lost. Many of these people are leaving from large cities, with Philadelphia seeing 16,000 people leaving and Pittsburgh about 17,000. The reasons for this largely have to do with Pennsylvania's high taxes and lack of fiscal stability. In fact, U.S. News and World Report found that Pennsylvania's fiscal stability is the 12th worst in the country, leading to many people moving to more fiscally stable states like Florida, Texas, and North Carolina. Number 7. Mississippi. Mississippi is yet another state that has seen its population decrease in recent years, with a 0.32% drop between 2021 and 2022. While this only resulted in a loss of about 9,500 people, remember that Mississippi's total population is only about 2.95 million. This outflow of people largely has to do with the state's poverty rate and poor economic health. In fact, Mississippi is the second poorest state in the country, with a poverty rate of 19.4%, or almost 1 out of every 5 people. For reference, the national poverty rate in the same time period was 12.8%, and the state with the lowest poverty rate, New Hampshire, had a rate of only 7.2%. When we look at household incomes, the state of poverty only becomes clearer. For instance, a single earner in Mississippi has a median income of only about $47,000, and for a family of 4, that number is only $75,000. Compare that to one of the wealthiest states, Massachusetts, where the median income for a single earner is $75,000, and for a family of 4, almost $149,000. When it comes to its economy, things are equally bad. U.S. News and World Report called Mississippi's economy the second worst in the country, according to factors like business environment, labor market, and overall economic growth. Last but not least, Mississippians are also frustrated with a lack of quality schools, lack of affordable healthcare, and poor infrastructure. Because of this, many people, especially young people, are leaving the state in search of opportunities elsewhere. Number 6. Oregon. Between 2021 and 2022, Oregon saw its population drop by about 0.38%, a loss of about 16,000 people. Much of this has to do with what we've seen in other states so far, a lack of affordable housing. For instance, as of June 2023, the median home sale in the Beaver State was about $511,000, and a report found that Oregon ranked number 39 when it comes to housing affordability. That's because Oregonians pay a significant percentage of their income towards housing, and only about 25% of households can afford the median price of a new home. Another reason Oregon has seen its population decrease has to do with unpopular policies. For instance, Portland is one of the fastest shrinking cities in the U.S. due to, at least in part, to unpopular policies like cuts to its police force. Number 5. Hawaii. Hawaii's population declined by 0.48% recently, equating to about 7,000 people. Continuing on our theme here, most of the reason for this has to do with the high cost of living. In fact, the cost of living in Hawaii is the highest out of any other state in the nation, with an overall cost of living index of 179 compared to the U.S. average of 100. It ranked high across the board in terms of groceries, health, and transportation, and ranked particularly high when it comes to the cost of housing, at an index of over 309. For instance, the median home sale in June of 2023 was $720,000. Considering that the median income in this state is only about $83,000, not too many of these people can afford a $720,000 home. The rent here is also expensive and is considered the most expensive place in the entire country to rent, with a one-bedroom on average costing $1,718 per month. All this means that Hawaiians spend over 40% of their income on rent. Finally, Hawaii has one of the highest tax burdens in the country, coming in second with an effective tax rate of 14.1% and tax burden of 12.31%. Number 4. West Virginia. West Virginia's population declined by 0.58% between 2021 and 2022, meaning it lost about 10,000 people. This might not seem like a lot, but it is when you consider the state's total population is only about 1.78 million. However, unlike many of the states we've looked at so far, West Virginia has a pretty low cost of living. So why are people leaving? Most of this has to do with the state's economy, which is in pretty poor health. U.S. News and World Report, for instance, listed West Virginia the 4th worst in the country when it comes to their economy. That's according to factors like the state's business environment, labor market, and economic growth. As if that weren't bad enough, WalletHub found that West Virginia's economy was in such dire straits that it's the worst place in the entire country to try and find a job. This has resulted in the population suffering significantly. with the fourth highest poverty rate in the country at 16.8%. But even if you're someone who does have a job and stable income here, other aspects of the state are having a tough time as well. For instance, its education system is pretty poorly ranked, making it an undesirable place to raise a family. Number 3. Louisiana. Louisiana lost 37,000 people recently, equating to about 0.8% of its population. When we look at the reasons why, there are a lot of similarities between this state and Mississippi and West Virginia. For starters, Louisiana has the highest poverty rate in the entire country at 19.6%, or 1 out of every 5 people. Remember, the national poverty rate is 12.8%. This high poverty rate arises from many factors, but part of the reason is that Louisiana has had a chronic problem with work opportunities, with high unemployment rates being a prominent fixture in the state in recent years. This has led to an economy that's been shrinking since 2010, with no sign of it turning around anytime soon. Because of its high poverty rate and poor economic opportunities, it was considered by one report to be the worst state to live in the entire country. Many of the people leaving the state are, like we saw in Mississippi, young people and recent college grads. In fact, even those who attended state schools like Louisiana State University are leaving after graduation, heading to states like Texas and other southern states with more opportunity. Number 2, Illinois. If you saw our earlier video on Illinois, you already know that this state has been in decline in recent years. Between 2021 and 2022, its population decreased by 0.82%, resulting in a net loss of 104,000 people. Many of these people are leaving Chicago, with the city losing more residents than any other metro area in the U.S. in 2021, for a total of 32,000 residents. Let me do the math for you. Of the state's population decline, nearly a third of that comes from people leaving Chicago. 39% of those leaving Chicago named the high cost of living and high taxes as major factors in their leaving. But it's not just high taxes that are driving people out of Chicago. The rest of Illinois has to deal with high taxes as well, with Illinois having one of the highest tax rates in the country and the second highest property tax rate. As a final reason, Illinois' economy has also been struggling, having not yet fully recovered from the pandemic. Number 1, New York State. The state that saw the biggest decrease in population between 2021 and 2022 was the Empire State, with its population decreasing by 0.91%, or 180,000 people. For starters, New York has the highest tax burden in the entire country, according to WalletHub, with a total tax burden of 12.47%. Compare that to the state with the lowest tax burden, Alaska, which has a burden of about 5%. And no surprise here, but the cost of living is also high in New York, with a cost of living index of 125 and a housing index of 173 compared to the U.S. average of 100. The median home sale as of June 2023 was $820,000 compared to the U.S. median of $418,000. Rent is also expensive, being the second highest in the country, with a one-bedroom costing an average of $1,678 per month. Many people are also leaving because remote work opportunities gave them the ability to work from other states. In fact, in 2020, New York's total workforce decreased more than any other state in the country and continued shrinking well into 2021. What about the states everyone is retiring to? Watch this video to learn about that.